I'm now understanding a little bit more about myself. I just have so many thoughts all the time. But it's really nice to be able to put them down into some form, get them out there, and just refine them and refine them. And there's no perfection. There's maybe not even an end goal. Maybe there's inklings of where I want to go, threads I want to keep rethreading and revisiting themes. But it doesn't matter at the end of the day to make it too perfect or to have a structure. I know that some people do love that, and maybe at times I have loved that as well. But I feel like I've never been more creative than now. I've created some cool things, at least things that I think are cool, but I've always felt more inhibited, and I felt like I haven't been able to explore maybe my own mind. And so just this exercise of exploring and exploring and exploring and not worrying about referencing things or looking things up, and just this idea of just dumping things and just emptying the mind and coming up with weird little things. I think we're all little weirdos, and some of us are weirder than others, and some of us hide it away. And most of us actually hide it away, I think, because of society, because of jobs. But even rich people are not completely free. This thing of a status game or fame or pressure and the idea of how you might be seen, your legacy, how you might be remembered, that maybe you want to craft a certain image, not just for other people, but even for yourself, of who you wish you were. But at the end of the day, you just are who you are. And maybe you can mold yourself in a certain direction. And actually, I think that can work. I thought that was very interesting for Goggins to talk about how he calls himself a Mona Lisa, that he shapes every day, he's painting every day, and the Mona Lisa is himself. He's the masterpiece, he's the thing he's working on. In a similar way that I guess Arnold also worked on his body and called it sculpting the body and bodybuilding. I guess in some ways, in a more abstract sense, Goggins is shaping his will and his, not persona, but his being, the way he is every day through exercise. And even though maybe I didn't really appreciate Goggins, maybe I still um, think this, he's not for everybody, he's not completely for me. I can extract that part and appreciate that part, which is really cool. And so I guess you can, there is some benefit to sometimes putting yourself through some things that you might not wanna do, and not in the Goggin sense, but just in the sense of exploring why you don't wanna go down this little path in your mind. Maybe just scared of opening up those cupboards, as Goggins would say, in your mind, and just seeing what the little demons that come out of there. But at the end of the day, sometimes maybe you're just glad you explored it and you didn't. It wasn't that bad. Like some people might not want to watch certain types of content or read certain things, or even hearing a certain person's name might evoke a really visceral feeling for them. And so I guess we can all choose where we want to. Maybe we don't get to choose, but it seems like to us, we might assume we can choose where you want to mold ourselves. And that's kind of cool that you can mold yourself and you're just an experiment. So I guess the way I'd like to think about it is this idea of investment, and you can invest money, you can invest into technology. But at the end of the day, I guess the biggest investment is yourself, and that's kind of, I guess, the point of many people. There's nothing else besides yourself. You can't control other people, you can't change other people, you can't really even probably change everything about yourself. I mean, obviously you can't, um, but some things maybe you can steer in the direction you actually want, and you can set up little boundaries and like a little kid or a little path where you're just trying to go to the direction where you want, the path that you want to kind of explore for yourself to gravitate towards, and what are the things that you can do. Some of us don't have that just natural inner drive to be driven and do one thing. I think most people want to do multiple things or interested in many things, and we kind of have to conform and do the one thing we're kind of good at and society pays us to do. I guess if we're unlucky enough to be born with a lot of money, um, unlucky in the sense that maybe you don't appreciate it as much. Maybe some people do. You don't know. It's impossible to know if you weren't born rich. So I think my experience has been that some rich people are able to instill in their kids some really good values and hard work and just education and all these things. I think it's not completely true that all rich kids are completely messed up. I think we're all messed up in general. When I got to know people who grew up with a lot more money than me, I realized that for one, my childhood was actually pretty good. Had a lot of great things, great memories. I'm so happy to have a shared experience between two different countries. It's one of the, uh, I think it's so fascinating to have two cultures that are really embedded in you at a very deep level. I think that's one of the greatest things you can have. But at the same time, I think we're all messed up and not just but it's great to see. I think for yourself, just you kind of have to experience it, like Goggins always talks or talked about during this podcast. That you can't be told. Some things you kind of have to do for yourself to know that they either don't matter that much or to know that they do matter. Uh, and so, in the sense of seeing rich people who are struggling firsthand and that they're messed up just like you, it's actually a great experience to see that, and also that they're great in other ways too. I mean, they're great in their own way, just like every human. I think it's just another person. Um, but at the same time, um, we're all kind of the same. We kind of all have our problems, and you keep upgrading your problems over and over again. There's always something. I guess that's just life. You keep uh, finding new and new problems. I think if you don't have a problem, you become bored, and that's its own problem, just boredom. And some people are not bored at all anymore, which is one of my maybe curses. I'm basically never bored. Either my mind's always running or I always have something I want to learn or watch or consume or whatever.